Welcome to the TCG Proshow. I'm Brad. This is Nikki. You know, one of the big things we're passionate about is video. And we're doing this week's podcast a little different. We have an awesome interview. But video's really transformed our business.
Absolutely.
And I know we've talked about some of our story before, and we've shared some of the ways that video has improved our business. But the long and short of it is we introduced video into our inspection business in the simplest, maybe crudest way imaginable. And we saw a 50% increase
Immediately.
Yeah. Really, actually, the first quarter we did regular video, we took our worst quarter of the year and made it the second best quarter. So worst quarter historically, made it the second best quarter. And then over the aggregate of an entire year, a full 50% increase in sales. So video is so powerful. Before we get into this week's interview, which is really awesome, we sit down with a professional videographer who has a passion for helping local businesses.
Yeah, that was really neat.
And we're going to share some awesome tips you're just not going to want to miss. We learned a lot.
We did.
Definitely. Want to talk a little bit about something we are doing. You know, we want to help other service businesses, other companies have the same success that we had.
Yeah, so we get approached a lot by small local businesses and ask our opinions about websites or posting or their message. And unfortunately, we can't just redo every single business's marketing plan. We'd love to. I think I spend every time I go somewhere, I end up chatting about marketing plans in the salon or nail or wherever. But we wanted to help as many people as possible, and that's really, we just don't have the time or ability to do everybody. So how could we? How could we help take our experience in the last couple years and beyond what we are, beyond that, but especially in the last couple years of video, what we have seen is so powerful, and how could we bundle that and package it and give it to somebody so that it was actually digestible, so that they could actually take the steps and do the same things and see the same growth in their business. And that's, we read 20 books. It's across multiple books. It's across multiple platforms, programs,
courses, mentorships,
trials and failures and bloopers and
well, the big thing was addressing the big problems. We know these because we live them. One, you're a small business owner and you don't have time to market or do video. You're already covered up doing your job.
You're supposed to be doing quality work. Isn't that enough?
Two, we understand video is uncomfortable. That's where we started. When I did my first building vlog, it was totally uncomfortable and I didn't know what to say. And we know that is a big thing. And two, this whole idea of social media marketing can be totally overwhelming. So how do we do that? Well, we've come up with a gift for you guys, right, just in time for Christmas, just in time to start your new year of marketing. And we know that if you follow these steps, you can have the same results. We have distilled it down into 5 easy, simple steps that anybody can follow.
Yeah, we boiled our plan, our strategy, into what, with video and social media, what we would consider the top 5 things that you just can't avoid if you want success as a small business owner doing video and social media. Really any social media, because video is the basis of that. If you're not doing video and social media, you're not doing the basic plan. So
it is a free PDF guide, the top 5 things you must do, and it comes with a bonus of 5 videos where we break down each part, and we're going to send those to you as well. How does somebody get a hold of that guide?
Very simple. There is a website or Facebook under both the same name. So it is www.socialvideomadesimple.com.
And that will take them right to the guide.
And I think on Facebook it is Social Video Marketing University.
So you're going to want to make sure when you're downloading this guide to go ahead and follow that page. This is just the beginning of the things we're going to be bringing to help other small businesses reap the successes that can come when you properly implement video. It doesn't have to be hard. So that's it for now. Go to socialvideomadesimple.com. Get your free guide today. And we're going to jump right into this awesome episode of the podcast where we interview Mr. Jordan Hauser of Jordan Hauser Digital out of, I can't remember the name of the town, but in Pennsylvania. We sit down and talk to him. So enjoy the episode. So, Jordan, I found you on YouTube and I assume you do a lot of video for people and all that. Tell us a little bit about some of the things that you do with your career.
So I went to school for photography, and when I was there, I just kind of butted heads with the professor of photography. Like, we didn't get along at all, and my friend asked me to help him shoot a music video, and I said okay, and went out and did that. And then all of a sudden, it was just like video was this thing that I like could not live without. Like, I loved it, and excuse me. So from there, I just I focused mainly on video. Graduated with a video degree, and then just kept on going. I mean, had a couple jobs in the industry, like right out of school, bouncing back and forth between a couple different gigs, and then started doing some freelance stuff, weddings. I mean, you always start with weddings, I think. And
because there's plentiful. There's lots of them.
They are. Yeah, there's tons of them. And it's quick and easy money. I actually just stopped doing weddings. I think this was my 13th year, just over the summer. Shot my last one. I'm done with those. But so, yeah, I mean, just like getting into YouTube was a thing where I was working at a really big retail company here in Pittsburgh. And, it was just... I wasn't really happy. It was kind of like it was a video factory, basically, is what I call it. So what was happening was like somebody was just kind of handing me an assignment. I would go do it the exact way they told me to do it. And then I would hand it off to the next guy. And then that guy would do with it what they told him to do. And then he would hand it off. And there was no creativity anymore. And it just wasn't fun. So I started YouTube just to have fun. So a few of my first videos on YouTube were, me scaring my wife with an air horn. Just,
it probably got a lot of reach, didn't it?
It actually, I mean, it did locally, like on Facebook and stuff. YouTube, I think, had seen that for a few years, and, they were kind of bored with it. But, I was just having fun, and that's what it was all about. And then once I kind of saw the channel start to pick up steam, and by pick up steam, I mean, like, I don't know, 15 subscribers. I was like, oh man, okay, people are digging this. So I started making content focused more on, what I do and video. So it was just kind of like, having fun, doing the whole like Casey Neistat thing. Like, I got an electric skateboard and I had fun with that. And I was like, I think like one of the first people besides him to have one of these things. So like my videos on the skateboard really did well. So I think that's what got me.
When you said you kind of fell in love with video, did you have that dream of going off to Hollywood and being a filmmaker, or what was it about video that you fell in love with?
No, actually, it's funny you say that. I was like in my film class in college. I was actually like one of the only people in my class that told my professor, like, I don't want to go to Hollywood. Like, that's not my dream. And so he like went around the room and said, like, what do you guys want to do? And everyone was saying, like, yeah, I want to be the next Scorsese. I want to do this. I want to do that. And he got to me and I was like, look, I just want to have a successful video company in my town and make awesome commercials for people. And that has been the dream like the whole time, and now I'm finally doing it. So
awesome. Now, what's interesting is that I want to know your take. How do you feel about all of the late videographers that are coming out right now, that are popping out, that have no real kind of like background in it? They're just kind of picking it up and really maybe because they find passion in it and enjoy it, but they don't have any of the education background.
To me, I mean, that stuff, it doesn't bother me. Like, I mean, I know a ton of photographers that, are somewhat bitter about like Instagram and things. And it's like, oh yeah, everybody's a photographer now. And, that doesn't bother me. It's just like, I'm making videos on YouTube for people that want to know how to do it. And, those people they're not stealing my work. It's cool. I mean, we're not trying to take the same girl to the prom. You know what I mean? So I feel it's good for everybody to be able to, find something that they like and start creating. And I learn so much watching these other guys on YouTube, like, things that I've been doing for years the hard way. I'm seeing all these like kids come out of school and they're just like, oh yeah, 5 tips on editing that everyone should know. And like, I would never watch a video like that, but I started watching those videos and I'm like, holy shit, these guys are doing like, my process, but they're doing it in half the time. So like, I learn every single day.
Awesome. Yeah, you can always learn from somebody.
What primarily, what does your business now consist of? You producing promotional type content for local businesses?
Yeah, so I'm doing marketing content for local businesses here in my area. So it's mainly just like marketing videos. I thought that when I started the business, the TV commercials would still be a thing. That's really, nobody really wants one. Everybody's focused mainly on video for web, for their websites or social media channels, anything like that.
Yeah.
So
what's that?
It's
what's
really
your
good.
process happen if somebody comes to you a business wise, and I'm assuming that they're probably problem aware, but they're not really solution aware. They know they need some video, but they really don't have a clue what they're supposed to be doing. Is that typically who comes to you, and kind of how do you go through that process from start to getting to like something that's really solid that will help them?
Yeah, so I mean, I get like a whole different smattering of clients. I have people who aren't very in tune with video or marketing at all. And, they just kind of get at me and say like, hey, I need more attention on the business. And then, that's an opportunity for me to step in at like, ground zero. We can start talking about strategy. We can start talking about the ideation process and pre-production, all of that stuff. And, that's cool because then that turns into almost a passion project for me because I've been there since, the beginning. Other clients that I have, some of these guys are very well-versed in marketing, and it's a very easy conversation because then it's just like, hey, we need this and that. And it's like, all right, cool, I can do it. You know what I mean? So it's, and we just sit there and just like bounce ideas back and forth. We'll sit at a brainstorm with like, maybe 6 people at the company, and we'll sit and talk and, come up with different ideas for different strategies, in release, or, whether we want to do it all on social media or if we want to put some short teasers on social media and then cross promote over to their website, get people to go that way. It all just comes down to what they want to do.
What type of video are you seeing most successful for people with marketing? Like more on the promotional side, more on the educational, value-driven side? Where are you seeing people have the most success?
In a local setting.
Yeah.
Locally, I would say that it's more about, getting, excuse me. It's all about getting people to kind of see local landmarks, kind of like tug at those heartstrings and things like that. I mean, like, it's tough for people to want to get involved in something or support a business if they don't know who it is. It's like, I remember 10 years ago or 15 years ago, I used to see these commercials for Sonic, the restaurant, and we didn't have a Sonic here. And I was like, why am I seeing these? Like, where in the hell is the nearest Sonic? And it was like hundreds of miles away. And I was like, who cares about this? And then what ended up happening was they were extremely smart in the way that they marketed, because they went, years in advance and started marketing to us. And then they put a Sonic.
You were excited.
Yeah.
So everybody knew where it was. I've still never eaten there. It's been here for like 10 or 15 years, but
You're not missing much.
I was going to say, I'm not sure
Right?
you should be excited.
yeah, their commercials bug the hell out of me anyway. But I think it's more about just like having people on social media see local people. They see local places that they know, and, they can really relate to that. That resonates with them. That's why I tell my clients all the time, I'm just like, hey, if we're going to redo your website or something, we need to get out there and we need to shoot content for your website, because I don't want to go to your site and see some like model with perfect teeth shaking hands with this other model with perfect teeth. Like, that's not your business, you know? I mean, that's a stock photo. And, you know, with Instagram and YouTube and Facebook and all of these things, everyone knows what stock footage is now. Like, anyone, my 12-year-old niece could sit there and tell you, like, that's fake. So it's, you know, it's good to really be able to, like, pump local content into it. And, you know, I think that just that is the best way to market like a local business, is really just like show the town, show, like I said, landmarks, people that they know.
Awesome.
Right. So it's that opportunity to build a relationship.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And that's where you're seeing the big benefit in local.
So one of our businesses is a home inspection business, and we kind of got into this by accident 2 years ago, but we've been making videos. They're kind of like the client of our, you know, some of our marketing process. And so we've had clients show up recently and talk to Brad and be like, oh, I thought he was an actor because they were so used to seeing his videos.
I was at an inspection last week and we had a client. I've never met this lady in my life. And so the other inspectors were there, and they're like, "Is Brad going to be here? Is Brad going to be here?" And I came in,
dang.
and I said, "Hey," to the lady, and she said, "I am just so glad to finally meet you." And I'm thinking,
there you go.
What are you talking about? You know,
He thought he
like,
missed something important.
That's what I'm talking about. The model with perfect teeth.
yeah, yeah, right. Definitely not perfect teeth, definitely not a model. But yeah, I think I love that authenticity. People, you know, the people that actually own the businesses are probably the ones that are least aware of the importance of getting away from the stock footage and all that. You know, the older generation doesn't see it, but it's like you said, when they get in touch with that younger demographic's like, that's fake, that's not real.
Right.
They can see through it.
Yeah, I mean, building relationships, I think, is the best thing that you could possibly do if you're trying to run a small business. I mean, like you said, I mean, for these people to see you, know you through your videos, you know, that gives them a sense of like, I know exactly who I'm going to talk to. He's a really nice guy from the videos and all of that stuff. So like that translates over to real life conversations. And, you know, you've got these people's trust before you even talk to them.
Yeah.
Well, it's how do you make an impact on them when they pull up Google and they put inspection company? You know, how do they tell the difference between one or another? I mean, let's just say everyone has similar reviews that someone has raved about them, maybe some more than another, you know, and then you go to their website. Yeah. So how do you draw them in, and how do you make a difference between the two of them?
So how many or how often do small businesses, local businesses need to think about getting new, fresh video content up?
I mean, as video is getting like more popular and stuff, you know, there was a point in time like 5 years ago where, you know, it wasn't a surprise if a local business didn't have video on their site. But now, I mean, video it's necessary. You have to have video. I mean, you know, I could go on about like studies and retention rates and all of that stuff about A and B tests about like websites with and without video. All
it's okay,
that
we're
stuff.
sold.
You know, it's just like you have to have a video presence in today's marketing, you know, and whether it just be for social or your website and social, I think it's just the best way to market yourself. And, you know, if you're doing big projects, like high budget projects, then yeah, you might not be able to do those once a month or, you know, once a quarter or something like that. So maybe like 2 a year. But if you're just making some like, sorry, again, the cold. But you know, if you're making some things that are more candid and, you know, really just kind of touching and, you know, has a good story, I think that, you know, if they're not like super high budget, you could probably do those a couple times a year, and it would be worth doing that. Because again, you want to talk authenticity. You don't want to, you know, in the middle of January, you don't want to see a video that, you and your business or whatever, you're out in the sunshine running through a park. It doesn't translate. It doesn't make any sense. So, I feel like, those should be updated, maybe seasonally, I think is a good thing. I mean, my clients are pretty good at pumping out a good bit of content. They really, every event that might take place, they have me come and, film that. We'll make something of it. If there's some kind of initiative going on, we'll film interviews with people or go shoot B-roll and blah, blah, blah. And we'll do all of this stuff and make some really cool videos to just share with, the purpose of either, like I said, cross promotion to their site or, to have people donate or apply for a job, things like that. I do a lot of recruiting videos. And, it's all over the place, but, I would say do it as much as your budget can handle. You don't want to, go poor, by an advertising, but at the same time, I mean, you do kind of need that advertising. Is video the best, solution for advertising? I mean, I'm going to say yes, but, word of mouth. I mean, word of mouth is really what makes it happen. That's the oldest trick in the book, and it's still the most relevant thing on the planet. So if you can go and create content that people will talk about, share, make shareable videos, I mean, there you go. You got your word of mouth.
Well, that's right. I mean, you think about the power of a video. A customer, if there's a great shareable video, a client then has another way to share you word of mouth.
Right.
With their social,
Absolutely.
with their friends. Hey, I went to this place. Check this out.
It multiplies.
The video allows you to now have control of that voice. It's not just what they remember about it. You can, control the message.
The impact.
Mm-hmm.
One thing we really encourage people to do is, obviously you can only afford to hire a videographer as a small business to do so many projects a year. It is, you have to have that limited amount. But we encourage people that on a regular basis, you should be getting out your cell phone and taking the candid, behind the scenes, real, less polished video. How do you feel about businesses doing that, and what kind of benefit do you think there is in it?
Oh, I think it's extremely beneficial for businesses to do that. It's funny because I was just like telling a friend of mine, like I'm a video guy with a business, and I don't have any advertisement for myself. You know what I mean?
The plumber has leaky pipes, so don't worry.
Right, yeah. So it's like, I don't have a commercial for myself. I don't have a web video for myself. I have my demo reel. You can go and see my work. But, what those behind the scenes things would do for me is those are things that I can share on social channels. And, people get excited when you show them like cool cameras and stuff like that. I mean, like, you go and I don't know if you can see all the cameras back there, but like, I just take a picture of that on set with somebody, lit really nice and stuff. And I just put some kind of like motivational thing on there. Like, yo, we're getting it today, blah, whatever.
They get excited.
And yeah, I mean, like people like it. They like to see you doing well. So even if you're not like, not me, but say like, whatever, Joe's store downtown, if they're getting in a new shipment of things for the store, it's beneficial. Take your cell phone out, shoot that stuff, and share it on your social channels. It's not going to look like something that a professional is going to come and make for you, but it keeps people, keeps them interested, keeps them on the hook.
Absolutely. So we get a lot of questions about people, like how to start doing content because they're nervous. They don't want to be in front of the camera. Do you have any recommendations for those people that kind of, especially like agents that come to us and they're like, how do I take that first step and getting into it? Should they start with a videographer that kind of help like transition them through it? Should they just pull out their cell phone and kind of get used to it? Like, where's the best practice?
Best practice ever is YouTube. I would say start yourself a YouTube channel. and really just get comfortable talking to a camera. When I first started my YouTube channel, I was like petrified to talk to a camera. I don't know why. It seems silly. I mean, like, I would be alone in my house with a camera. Nobody's around me. No one knows what I'm doing. And if I'm just like staring into this lens, it just made me so nervous. And I was like, all right, this is stupid. I'd turn the camera off and be like, I'm not this guy. Like, I'm not going to do this. I was always the guy behind the scenes. And, you know, it's just so weird. But the thing is, though, you're very comfortable on camera. It seems to me that you're very comfortable.
Made her do it.
Because he has cameras everywhere.
I make her get on camera.
See? That's the way. You do it, you practice. And I mean, YouTube is really, I think, made me the type of business person that I am. I fully, you know, am saying that YouTube has inspired me in like so many ways, just like teaching me how to be comfortable on camera, how to have conversations with people, you know, what the new things, you know, the newest techniques and editing techniques and shooting and this and that, like really kind of just keep you up to date. It's basically like you're still in school learning every single day because of YouTube. You know what I mean? And I just feel like you got to do it. Like my first like couple videos that I shot in public when people were like staring at me, holding this camera, talking to a camera, you know, they were uncomfortable. Like, I'm not going to lie. It's terribly uncomfortable, but you know, you get used to it. And then people come up and they ask you like, what are you doing? And, you know, as long as you're not like, mind your own business, you know, you could go that route.
They really just want to be on it. They
right,
want to be. They just want to get on the camera with you.
More than likely, people are just like, yo, do you have a YouTube channel? I mean, it's that easy to say like, yeah, I do. I'm making a YouTube video. And it's so commonplace now that it's not a big deal. Now, that's me carrying around like a DSLR on like some big stupid tripod. The phone, on the other hand, I mean, these are commonplace. You go into a Starbucks and you see 9 people FaceTiming their friends. You go to the mall, you see 9 people talking to their camera. So it's nothing. You know, you talk to a cell phone, everyone's just like, oh yeah, he's talking to somebody. It's not a big deal. So, I mean, shoot with your cell phone. I mean, these are fantastic. They have the best cameras like ever in the world right now are in cell phones. So it's just like everyone's so used to it that I would just say get out there and do it. Make yourself uncomfortable. That's the best thing you can do.
I love that. So I got 2 questions for you. First one, iPhone or Android for camera?
I'm an iPhone guy.
There's really no other choice for that, right?
You see the positives.
I know, but we had to get it on camera. And
yeah,
the second,
I mean,
go ahead.
I have some friends that are like diehard Android fans, and their phones are cool. They have great cameras. They do fantastic things. I work with like primarily all of my machines for work are Apple. Everything's Mac. It's just so easy to like, you know, if I shoot a clip or, you know, whatever, I can just, or a photo out in the field or whatever, I just airdrop it straight to my Mac and I can like, you know, blow it up, take a look at it, see how it looks. It's just the easiest thing.
We won't put this in probably the feed, but just a quick question. On your Mac, do you edit in Premiere or do you use Final Cut or?
No, I use Premiere Pro.
Even on a Mac, and you feel like the performance is still, you probably have a really fast machine.
Oh, yeah. So I have a MacBook Pro that is kind of like it was my workhorse at one point. A friend of mine that I actually did some work for works for a computer company. And what he did was took an old G5 tower and like made that thing a monster. So it's like it's an octa-core or 12 core whatever. It's got like 8 terabytes of internal storage. It's just, this thing's off the hook. But I mean, even on my MacBook, Premiere is pretty awesome.
Yeah, I always felt like the Mac kind of slowed Premiere down. I ended up Anyway, never mind.
Sorry.
That's all right. This is so sidetracked to the podcast conversation.
No, that's all right.
Come back to marketing.
So we're talking, small businesses here. You're encouraging them to get on YouTube. It's changed your business. Is the best advice just get out your phone, or should they consider purchasing a camera, or what kind of advice do you have there?
So I actually get this question all the time on YouTube, and it's, I gear my YouTube channel and my content to beginners. I'd love to be making the same content that like Peter McKinnon is making and all these just cinematic everything. But like, how do you compete with that guy? A, and then B, it's like the people that are watching his stuff to learn how to do that kind of already know how to do that stuff. So what I wanted to do was kind of like, niche down. And so I was like, let me talk to beginners about how to start. I mean, like there's a ton of people out there, just like we're talking about right now, that don't know how to do certain things, when it comes to shooting videos. So I would just say, what I tell people is I wouldn't go out and spend a bunch of money on camera gear, like at first. I mean, you have the best camera in the world is the camera you have on you at the time. So I would say use your phone, get comfortable with it. If you're not seeing the results that you like, then as you progress and, you learn your settings and, aperture and shutter speed and all of that stuff, then go ahead and grab a camera. But you can do it. You can do it right now. Take your phone out of your pocket and record a video.
Do you think I found that, sound is one of the things that sometimes you struggle with the phone. Is it a worthwhile investment to invest in a mic, like a lav mic or something for your phone videos?
Yeah, there's tons of options now, especially with like how technology is just like every single day, like compounding. So, with the phone, you could either hook up a lav mic straight to the bottom of your phone. I mean, there's one option. The other option is to get like an external recorder, like the Zoom like H1N or something like that. I think it's like $80. You could always just record those separately and then, sync them in post. People get scared when you say sync it in post. It's the easiest thing in the world.
That sounds complicated.
Right? I mean, like now that, Premiere works with variable frame rates and, it's as easy as taking an audio recording and a phone clip, putting them on the same timeline, highlighting it, right clicking and hitting synchronize. It's done. It's over. Like the guesswork is out. No more claps. No more anything like that.
But that's so much fun.
So, right? I mean, I still do it. But,
of course.
That's because I'm an old video guy. But yeah, I mean, there's so many different things that you can do. They even make like Rode mics. They make a I think it's called like the Mobile Video Mic Pro or something like that. It just clicks into your bottom of your cell phone, and it's a tiny little shotgun mic. And it comes with like a little furry dead cat thing that,
well,
filters
if you don't have a furry
the
dead
wind
cat
noise and
cover
all
on
that.
your mic, you're not really shooting video.
That's right.
No, you're
You
just
ain't
talking
shit.
to somebody on the phone. not for real.
That's right.
Last couple minutes here. What would be your top tips for somebody shooting on a phone? Can you tell somebody like what if they did these 3 things, they'll get the best video out of their phones?
Yeah, so there's things about like every release of phones that, are pretty surprising. One thing that I learned recently, I'll call it recently, like if it's in the last like year and a half, is you can actually like when you go to focus on something, you can actually just hold it and it'll lock your exposure and lock your focus. And then you can just like slide that little sun thing up and down to like brighten your shot, and then that way you don't have to worry about like any ambient light screwing with your stop or your shot or anything like that. That's one of the things that I use all of the time. If I'm shooting photos with my phone or, videos, something to give it a little bit more mood, I'll darken it and, lock that exposure. But that's good. I would just say like, think about all of the things that you have available to you as far as like, tripod, like little bendy tripods and things like that. Like if you take a selfie stick and you take one of those tripod things and you disassemble the little selfie stick holder and you put it on there, then you've got yourself, a phone on a tripod. Just be innovative. It's, every video guy and girl has, a ton of just things laying around. Like I went to a shoot last Monday and I ordered a new monopod, and Amazon told me it would be here next day, and it didn't come for 3 days. So I missed it, and I was like, man, what am I going to do? So I ran to Walmart and I got a cheap monopod, and I disassembled my tripod and I put that head on on the monopod and took it to my shoot, and it worked. It wasn't as stable as I wished that it had been, but we were just shooting some candid interviews, so it didn't really matter. But yeah,
I love all those tools. I'm glad you mentioned them. I think those are.
So you don't have to pay top dollar for every tool, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, like you can come up with a lot of stuff. I mean, just messing around with little connectors here and there, you can put together some pretty wild stuff.
Awesome. Well, this interview has been awesome. I think the memory card we have in the.
Well, I was going to ask if you, as a small business, you were going to make the investment to do one video for the year, and they have nothing to start out with. I pretty much think I know what your answer is going to be, but what would you recommend that every small business needs to start with, at least at minimum?
At minimum, I would say you have to do an about me video. I mean, it's got to be something that is going to, resonate with your audience, something that's going to have them get to know you as a business, as a person. I mean, I think that's why certain businesses are as successful as they are, because of the person behind them. If you trust that person, just like we were talking about earlier, if you trust that person and you get a good vibe from that person, then of course you want to do business with that person. And, it's things like that I think really are first and foremost. And then if you want to go on and do, ads and things like that, you don't ever really want to be the car salesman guy who's like, come on down, blah, blah, blah. We'll meet you on Sunday. But it's like, be gentle with your approach. Don't always try to, be selling people and things like that. I mean, most of the videos that I have sold to clients have just come from really great conversations and just like, hey, I think that I see what you're trying to do, and I think that you could probably do it more effectively if we did something like this. Like, are you up for that? And, some people say yeah. Some people will just be like, I don't think I have like a video budget right now. And, it, like I said, like word of mouth, that's the most important thing. The whole reason I have a podcast is because I wanted to take word of mouth, but then innovate that. So how did I do it? I started a podcast that was strictly to be a vehicle to market my video business. I talk to local people. Their friends and family are going to come and listen because they're on my show. Other locals are going to listen to it because it's local. And so they're going to get to know me by coming to see their friends and family on my show. And at the beginning of every episode, I throw in a plug that says like, hey, this episode's brought to you by Jordan Hauser Digital, and, blah, blah, blah. Give a little spiel on why you should have video for a business. And, it started that way, and now the podcast has actually been pretty successful. So that kind of like transcended that whole idea. But first episode, I had a company call me, and they were like, yo, you have a video company in Greensburg? Yes. Awesome. Our headquarters is in Germany, but our other headquarters is here in Greensburg. We had no idea. And I didn't know who they were. They didn't know who I was. And now we're on our third meeting and talking about making a bunch of videos.
Awesome. Well, it's also a way for you to give value to somebody. You don't have to have your hand out automatically
Right,
first
yeah.
before, and then people put their wall up before they meet you if you do that. If you do the car salesman thing, nobody likes car salesmen.
No, definitely not. And I mean, like, if you can do something for the community at the same time, like, I have people, I talk to them and I'm like, hey, do you want to be on the podcast? And they're just like, oh yeah, how much do I owe you for that? And I'm like, you don't owe me anything. Like, I'm using this. I explain the whole thing I just explained to you guys. I'm using this for, my own advertisement, but I want you to prosper as well. I mean, like, I want local business to flourish here, because the more money you have in a local economy, I mean,
The better you're gonna do.
Yeah, it's good for everyone.
Awesome.
Yeah, that's right. Buy more videos.
Yeah.
That's right.
So if someone wanted to follow your YouTube channel, we're going to go ahead and link it, but do you want to go ahead and kind of shout that out so that they can get some more beginner tips?
Yeah, so it's youtube.com/Jordan Hauser Digital. It's HAUSER.
Awesome.
Yeah, we have found you have some great tutorials on your channel. Highly recommend that people check that out. They can
thank you very much.
learn a lot. I really enjoyed your video on shooting B-roll. I thought that was really cool. The one with I know you've probably done more than one, but the one where you're making the eggs.
Oh, making the eggs.
Yeah.
Everybody likes that.
Yeah,
Everyone gets hungry. It's fun. I mean, like, that's the type of thing that I would say, like, if people are going out to shoot their own videos and things, like, even with a cell phone, just get innovative, and, not only with your equipment, but, with your thoughts and things like that. I mean, experiment, get close on things, do like little, parallax type movements and things, and just have fun with it. B-roll is like one of the greatest things in the world to shoot, because you can do anything you want. And, if it doesn't look good when you're editing, then throw it away. Who cares?
Yeah.
Just delete it. So
Awesome. Well, thanks again so much for being on again. We really appreciate it. This has been a good
Absolutely.
conversation.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for having me on.
No.
How much did you enjoy that conversation, Nikki?
I really did. I was really shocked at how he was surprised about how doing something completely different, the audio, and he does an audio, he does do the video of it, podcast with local businesses, how much support and excitement he has seen from people. He's not, what I caught out of that is he doesn't go in and say, hey, I want to sell you video services. Mm-hmm. He goes and is sharing something of value.
Yeah.
He is sharing knowledge about and telling you about stories about people and businesses, which is around it's not, it's very genuine. It's not a tactic. It's not manipulation. He really is spotlighting these people.
Yeah.
And in doing so, he has seen such excitement from friends, family members, and the community.
I just love how he talked about, he's walking down the street and neighbors who never talked to him before, like, you're the podcast guy, and that just goes to show you, when you're serving your community with your content, what it can do for you, what it can do for your business. It is so cool. Thank you so much, Jordan, for being on. If you want to make 2020 the year you crush it with social media, you've got to do video. And if you want to do video right, our guide is going to help you make that happen. Socialvideomadesimple.com. I know this podcast was transformative for us. I think it's going to shape some changes and things you're going to see on our podcast next year.
And we're gonna have Jordan back, please, Jordan. I'm gonna take you up on that offer, because we have more to discuss. I have more to learn. So
if we don't see you guys again on the podcast this year, have a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we look forward to being a part of making 2020 the best year yet. Bye, guys.